All right, showed you last night all the building I'm doing on the roof of that hive. And so now the boards that go on top of all the way across to seal off the frames from the whole roof area, I need to vent those to be able to get air out of there too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna hole saw. And if you look here, I've already done one. Hole saw through 3 boards at one time, just to speed the process up. So I marked 3 centers on this board, clamped it down, and I'll drill out 2 of these, pick them out of there, and then do the 3rd one. And it makes all 3 boards exactly the same, which is always good. You don't want them to be all cattywampus. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put screen on both sides of it to keep the bees from being able to escape through that part. So to hold the boards together even tighter, just off center of the center point over here, I put a little screw all the way through them too. So there's a 2-inch screw going through all 3 of these pieces of wood. And then that helps keep everything together. But when I drill it, it's not where the drill bit is. It's not in the center. It's over in the middle here on the outer edge here. So the hole saw is not hitting it, neither is the drill in the middle. So let's get after this. Need more battery. Got a huge mess going on this table, don't mind it. I am just trying to get done. I hate to have my shop look like this, but it is what it is. So now I need to take the screw out because the screw's all the way through, but I need to get through the whole board. So take the screw out. Oh boy. Sawdust gets me every time. And there's lots of it. You end up with 3 discs like that. One of them's on the ground. All right, so the last one is the center one. Again, take the screw out. I like to say I'm allergic to the dust, but I think I'm allergic to the work. Never ending. Okay, So, I learned something on YouTube the other day that I think I want to try. So, say I drilled these holes and I realized, I want to go a little bit bigger. So I saw this deal with this guy. Put the bigger one on. Yeah, mine's barely gonna do it. Then he screwed the littler one on there like that. And that little one sets up to get the lines the hole up. I don't know if you ever tried, because if you try to just take this big one while you already have a big hole here, with the drill not being able to go through the center, so you use a smaller one to center it all the way down through, and then you can re-drill it all the way through it. So pretty cool little trick, and it literally works. All right, let's try it out. I just want to try it. I'm gonna do a much smaller hole. So I'll take the sandies and I'll put some screen top and bottom, throw them in the hive, ready to go. So that's cool. All right, so let's get a scrap. Here's a scrap piece of wood. All right, so let's go drill the wrong size hole. Okay. So, if we realize that we drilled the wrong size hole, and we take this and we try to drill it, there's nothing to line it up, and it doesn't work. Trust me, I've tried to do this before, and it's just wallowing all around. So you end up taking a grinder and drawing a circle and just grinding the whole thing out of there. There's any way to do it, all right? Well, on YouTube, the famous YouTube, this guy said, yeah, you just put the original one back in here. I'm like, no way. And the guy that was doing the video was throwing F-bombs and everything else because he didn't know that you could do this. So we centered that up. Look at that. That's perfect. Crazy. The things you learn on YouTube. So, got a perfect. Let me show you this. Perfect hole from this. So that's a little trick of the trades. 59 years old and I learn something new every day. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and start getting prepared to do the screens. I'm going to cut some screen up and I'll bring you guys back in. So you hang tight. So I've already done these two. Sanded them down a little bit. Just using the 5-ring sander. label on here. All right. So what we need now is enough screen to cover these 4 holes, or 3 holes, I'm sorry. So we need to mark it. Big old-fashioned scissors. It's like a smiley face on there. Not very good at my getting it squared up, but oh well. All right, so the next thing we need to do is cut the plywood to go on here. So we had to find the angle of this thing. So I have an angle finder. So not sure if I'm doing it right, but I think it's gonna work out. So I zero this thing out, okay? I open it up, put it on here. I get 138.4. Half of 138.4 is 69.2. So I'm assuming that if I cut this top seam at 69.2 times 2 pieces of wood, I'll end up with a nice sealed seam right there. And I don't know if you've noticed, but all this stuff is all angled to match the wood that's going to go on it. So doing it the right way. So I'm going to set up sawhorses right behind you there and figure out how big I want these pieces of wood to be and cut me some wood that the end sticking out down here is just going to be 90 degrees to the board. It's going to be the stock angle, you know. But I want to cut this one so that the seam actually is together perfect. Not that it really matters. I'm going to cover it with aluminum or tin or something. So it doesn't really matter. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Kind of a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. So let me get after that. Beauty. So this thing's exactly 48 inches. So I'm gonna have to cut it long ways and just waste a bunch of wood because I want overhang on both sides. So let me look at my other one that I've already done and look at how much overhang I had and see what I want to do. So hang on one second. All right. So we're gonna make this thing 54 inches. So another Kreg tool, actually is named Kreg, K-R-E-G. You put this thing on, you can add more pieces to it and make it 8 foot, and you just cut, and it freaking doesn't need clamp down or anything. It's pretty cool. So for those of you that wonder how that board did not fall, put my sawhorse in diagonally, so I just cut right through the sawhorse, but then it supports both boards somewhat. Okay, so the next thing we need to know is how wide we're going to make this board. So, one of the things you got to remember is this thing tilts up. Honestly, these are the things that I'm constantly trying to figure out. So, as you see, I want this thing to come out to about here. The problem is, as soon as you start lifting this up, bam, it hits into this thing. So, but I really want those on there to support this, so in case the wind blows, you're not relying on this flimsy little chain, and you're not going to rip the whole roof off the thing. Thinking about extending the roof, then cutting a notch out of the board. I don't know what that'll look like. because I'm going to extend it this way too. This is where you got to stop and think a little bit sometimes and try to figure it out.